It will show red mark here. Namaste. I had some technical issues in my laptop. I don't know what went wrong. So I'm sorry. So the immune system actually in Ayurveda, there are three types of functioning. I mean, the quality and functioning of immune system is dependent on three things. One, his immune system at the time of birth. At the time of birth, the quality of immune system, that is called Sahaja Bala, that is inherited from parents. Next is Kalaja Bala. Kalaja Bala means that which is acquired in different period of life from the age of the person. Actually, children are having more immune strength than old age. Old age means least immune strength. So according to age also there is variation in immunity, immune system functioning, and also impact of external seasons, and also impact of different diseases in the subject. A person at the time of health, his immunity varies from a person who is having any form of disease. So the same person who is in different state and stages of diseases will be having variable immune functioning levels. So this is called Kalaja, and Yukti Krita means Ahara Vihara Janita, that is acquired by the diet and regimen of the subject. So a child who is being taught the scientific healthy diet, healthy nutrition, and how to take healthy nutrition alone is not responsible for good immunity. Nowadays, there is a myth that eating nutrient rich food will cause immunity. It's not like that. Eating will not only cause a person immune to a disease. What matters more is it should be digested, it should be metabolized. The food that a person eats should be well compatible to his body status, first of all. His immune status, his digestive status, his metabolic status, his drainage status, everything matters. So the food which is being taken by the subject should be first and foremost compatible to the status of the individual who is consuming at that period of consumption. That is one. If the person is not hungry, if you are not hungry, you are eating a nutritious food, doesn't mean that you will become healthy. So first is that hunger. Hunger level determines the quality of immune response. So Ayurveda is the only science which is dealing with this minutest and subtlemost aspects, which originally determines the quality and efficiency of your immune system. So first is hunger, hunger status. You have to be hungry when you are taking food. So your hunger determines your immune status. When you are most hungry, your immune system will be maximum efficient. You know, the number of immune cells is immaterial. How your, except for the cases in immune deficiency, where immune cells are very much low in number. Such people are more prone to get infections, as we know now, black fungus, white fungus, etc. But other than that, a little bit lower number in immune cells doesn't mean that you're going to get infected immediately. So what matters most is that efficiency of the immune system. Efficiency of the immune system is entirely dependent on the stage of, first, the stage of consumption of the diet, whether you are hungry or not. So even boosting hunger is the first step of augmenting immunity. When you are taking care of your hunger while eating, if you are not hungry, what you have to do? You have to sip hot water, very like warm water at least, or hot water. Frequently, small quantity you can sip and boost your hunger. That is a very good thing you are doing to boost your immunity. You don't need to go behind immune booster medicine, supplements, and foods. When you boost your hunger, that itself is the first step of augmenting your functioning of your immune system. So this is something which nobody will teach you, but only other than Ayurvedic science. Okay, so this is the first step. And second thing which determines your immune system functioning or efficiency is metabolism, digestion and metabolism. So whenever you are taking food, if it is properly digested on time, you will feel light, and by your next food timing, you will feel light and hungry, is it not? You will feel when you are getting belching, It will be free of any smell. If your digestion is not complete, your belching will have the smell of previously consumed food. That indicates that it's not time to take the next diet. So when your digestion is improper, what you have to do? You have to wait for the body to make it proper. It's not like when digestion is improper, immediately take some medicine to boost hunger, take some arishta. It's not like that. Your body has all the mechanisms to normalize your status. Any temporary faults in physiology, your body can repair it inherently. So you have to boost, sip hot water and wait for the digestion to happen. So before that, if you are consuming the next food, that itself can trigger an abnormal immune response against pathogens. So that itself can trigger lowering of immune response against the pathogens. It is called adhyashana in Ayurveda. Before the previously consumed food is not completely digested, before it is time worrying of nutrition, your mother is giving you milk. You are telling your mother, I am not that hungry. Your mother is giving you milk. Milk is the most heavy food, cannot be digested easily. So mother thinks that one glass of milk will make my child healthy, but already in the status of low digestion, poor digestion. Poor digestion indicates that you have to wait for improving digestion. In that status, if you are taking lemon juice, if you are taking milk, or if you are taking some fruit juice, that will further slow down digestion. So anything other than hot water is not good during that time. And you have to move yourself. You have, if you are sitting continuously, no digestion. Nowadays it is lockdown. You are sitting continuously for hours. That can hamper digestion. That can impair digestion, disturb digestion. All these are strong determinants of your chances of getting infection. So that is second one. And metabolism. Metabolism is something which you cannot directly control from outside, but again you can indirectly control metabolism is happening inside the cells. What you are taking, the food is undergoing metabolism inside your cells, and the nutrients are being absorbed and assimilated. So all these happens inside the cells. So to have a healthy metabolism, when virus or any bacteria or any pathogens attack your immune system, as, for example, COVID virus itself, it doesn't have any life outside. So it will enter your cells and make your cells its shelter, and it will start proliferating. So if virus has its own anabolism for proliferating or multiplying inside your cells, it needs nutrition. It needs nutrition. So you are providing wrong nutrition to your body means if you are eating wrong nutrients like milk, juices, or non-veg or heavy to digest foods, biryani, ghee, so much of fats, etc. No exercise, no boosting hunger, nothing means the viral anabolic factors are you are favoring viral anabolism, all the components inside the body in immune system which is capable to favor the virus to proliferate. You are causing, you are enabling it to activate virus. So nobody tells you all this, you know, nobody tells you all this. People are only caring of external protection. So if you are not boosting hunger, you are not sipping hot water, you are not waiting for best digestion, etc. And if your metabolism is slow, in Ayurveda there is science-based evidences. We have cause mechanism effect proven scientific evidences in our Samhitas, Charaka, Susruta, Vagbhada, which explains which all foods will slow down metabolism, why foods, certain kinds of foods are slowing down metabolism. So in that case, what has to be done? Okay, so for example, fruits will slow down metabolism, nuts will slow down metabolism. So there are certain, perhaps Ayurveda is the only science which explain the nature of foods. In modern science, they are concerned only about nutrition. But Ayurveda concerns about the nature of diet and the impact of the nature of the diet depending on the condition of the host. What kind of person is consuming that diet? In what stage of digestion? What stage of metabolism? What stage of infection? What stage of other diseases in his body? He is consuming these things. So all these can affect or alter his chances of getting an infection. If viral anabolism is more, you are favoring viral anabolism. For example, even a one time you are eating chicken biryani when you are not hungry, you have more chances of getting infection than others. Okay, if you are drinking unboiled water, if you are having the habit of drinking unboiled water, if you do not have the habit of walking around inside the house, if you are not doing any sort of exercises, all these are very much favorable. This will make you very much prone to getting any form of infections, not only COVID-19, any form of metabolic imbalance and infections, not only infections. You can go metabolic diseases like diabetes, dyslipidemia, etc. And what happens in these metabolic diseases, it will slow down the metabolism inside the cells. So when your metabolism is slowed down, efficiency of immune system will also come down. This is the only science of Ayurveda which explains, only science available to humanity today, which explains the close and constant connection between immunity and hunger, immunity and metabolism. Everything is proven and substantiated by cause mechanism effect relationship in the science of Ayurveda. So that is why an SBEBA practitioner can clearly predict what will happen if you undergo this diet and regimen. This is unscientific and incompatible to you. So this kind of modifications are very much important. And third is drainage mechanisms. You think that eliminating stool or urine or sweat is drainage. That's not only drainage. Drainage means internal drainage is there. Cellular drainage. Cells are undergoing metabolism and metabolic wastes are to be properly expelled from the cells through circulation to the excretory organs and from excretory organs to outside. So internal drainage mechanism is very much influenced by your diet regimen, the kind of water you take, and your exercises, your metabolic status, everything, other diseases, everything. So this also causes a significant impact on your chances of getting infection, number one, chances of recovery from the infection, number two, in how many days you will recover, whether you are prone to get complications. Everything is determined by these three factors: hunger status, metabolism, and drainage mechanisms. And number four, it is susceptible diseases to a person. It's not that a person who is having declined immunity will get infection. Many of the patients ask me, doctor, whether I got infection because of my declined immunity. No, it's not because of declined immunity that you got infection. You get infection when your immunity is healthy. When your immunity is active only, it responds to a pathogen. If your immunity is very much suppressed or if it is altered by some diseases, okay, if it is altered or masked, altered immunity can happen in people with allergy, autoimmune diseases, etc. So such kind of people, cancer more immune deficiency is happening, but sometimes immune alteration is also gravely happening. So these conditions, when you are prone to get infections, but apart from that, a healthy person is getting infection because he is healthy. Okay, it's not a negative thing. Getting infection means your immune system is active against the pathogen. So, what is to be done at the time of any infection is to get rid of the infection. So, if there are two types of immune mechanisms explained in the Ayurveda. First is Vyadhi Bala Virodhitvam. Vyadhi Bala Virodhitvam means after you get a disease, after you get an infection, how your immune system is fighting against the strength of the infection. So fighting against infection at the time of infection. That is one kind of immune functioning. And second is Vyadhi Utpadaka Pradibandhagatva. That is what I told from birth onwards, how you are increasing the number and quality of your immune cells. Your parents will be contributing. Then afterwards, your mother during pregnancy, whatever diet medications she is consuming. After you are born, what kind of foods you are served, what kind of medications you have done. All this will cause impact on your immune system. So that is Vyadhi Utpadaka Pratibandhagatvam, means all that will determine how much easily you will get infections and how much easily you get rid of them. So getting rid of infection is more Vyadhi Bala Virodhitva, and prevent infections is what is called Vyadhi Utpadaka Pratibandhagatva. So I want to clarify something here. When you are getting an infection, how easily, how clearly, how fast, how smoothly you get rid of infection, how naturally, most importantly, how naturally you get rid of the infection by your immune system. That is the first and foremost thing to prevent, as well as to prevent the onset of next infection, as well as to decrease the complications and death by infection. So one time when you are treating infection by scientific Ayurveda guidelines, I will just clear some myths regarding that. You are not focusing on immune boosters. You are not focusing on so many medications from Ayurveda like you are consuming in bulk. I know nowadays so many immune packages are happening. No use. Clearly of no use. What matters is boosting your hunger, boosting metabolism, boosting drainage mechanisms, and treating and reversing comorbidities which are present, like metabolic comorbidity, diabetes is there. Science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda has specific guidelines to treat diabetes, to reverse the cause mechanisms of type 2 diabetes. So when we are doing that, we are stimulating the metabolism of the cells inside the patient. So when we treat for infection in a diabetic patient by SBBA guidelines, not only that his infection is clearing off, but also his metabolic status is improving and he is getting rid of diabetes. This has happened so many times, and we are having a clear documented evidences, hundreds of patients. We are having documented evidences where HbA1c is constantly below 6 without any medicine. They were once on 3 and 4 medications with insulin, without insulin, and when once they approach us for infection treatment, any infection, when once they approach us for treatment of infections, when we are making them reverse infections, along with that, stage 1 treatment for infection, along with that itself, they are getting rid of diabetes also. So where is the question of complications? Where is the question of, like, diabetic patients are more prone to get die by an infection? Where is the chance of death? When we are reversing the disease, where is the chance of death? So this is the advantage of science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda over the conventional Ayurveda treatments. Conventional Ayurveda, what is happening is, for diabetes, some medicines which are prescribed in, which are recommended in Samhitas for Prameha, it will be recommended as such, or modern drugs will be recommended to be followed along with Ayurveda medicines. So this kind of empirical mixing, trial and error approach is unscientific in Ayurveda. You cannot continue allopathy and Ayurveda together in a person. Either the subject has to choose Ayurveda or the subject has to exclusively go for modern medicine. Mixing is very much dangerous. So this I will explain again in detail. Next is medicinal smoke. It's not like aparajita dhupa or whatever dhupa it is. It will not augment your immune system. Dhubana will not augment your immune system. Your immune functioning will not be improved by fumigation. Fumigation is advocated in the Samhitas. In Vishamajwara, there is a specific kind of fever which is explained, which is no way related to infection. Okay, it is no way related to infection, the context of infection, that our ancient scientists have explained fumigation. And some like antimicrobial studies are going on based on these herbs, which are used for fumigation. So these antimicrobial study, my point is that there is no antimicrobial treatment in Ayurveda, which is recommended by science of Ayurveda. There is our scientific texts of Charaka Samhita, Ashtanga Sangraha, and Susruta. They have never recommended to kill pathogens. You kill pathogens and make the patient recover. Nothing like that. Or you kill the pathogens and prevent infections. Acharyas have not recommended this thing in infections. So there is no point of advocating this fumigation, medicated smoke, in the label of immune augmentation or killing pathogens. Second, infection is the immune response to pathogens. It is not invasion of pathogens. Pathogens are all around in the atmosphere. Pathogens are outside and inside our body, outside and inside our cells, also our body. So we cannot kill all the pathogens around by fumigation and our body by fumigation and stay protected from infections. And I told you infections are a response of healthy immune system. So how can we get rid of infections or prevent infections? That is scientific method advocated by our sciences, boosting hunger, metabolism and drainage, internal drainage mechanisms. Here I want to clarify there are people who take laxatives, people who are taking different forms of Ayurveda medicines in the form of laxatives, etc. They believe that by clearing the bowels, their immune system will improve in efficiency, etc. It's very much wrong. Not only that it is wrong, it is hazardous to you also because your immune system may go disrupted by this very irrational activity as metabolism can go disturbed, digestion can go disturbed, your hunger status will go down if you are doing elimination process like by laxatives. Your hunger will be disrupted, metabolism will be disrupted, and your internal drainage mechanisms will be also disrupted. If you are taking Tribala Churna or Erenda Daila or any form of laxatives with the purpose of preventing infections. So the same Dhubapana, I have told you what is happening. So killing and killing all the microbes in the atmosphere no way ensure that your innate immune system will work efficiently to ward off the pathogens. So it is a perfect example for unscientific way of prevention and management of infections in Ayurveda. But I'm very sorry to say that such activities are happening nowadays. And next point is that herbs and spices are being used by people abundantly to improve their immunity. As I told you, improvement in immunity, there is nothing called improvement of immunity. You know, the number of immune cells increase do not mean that you are protected. Efficiency of the immune system has to improve. So efficiency of the immune system is entirely dependent on the above said factors. I already explained them. So when you are doing this, taking this ginger, garlic, tulsi, lemon, pepper, so many things people are consuming nowadays. It's very pathetic. Like most of the patients who come to me with infections or other diseases, they will be telling, Doctor, frankly, I was not using any of this. But for fear of corona, I have been advocated by many people like I will be protected if I take lemon and honey or lemon water or lemon juice or amla juice or some sort of pepper, ginger juice with jaggery. This is complete nonsense, complete stupidity. There is no guarantee that ginger juice plus jaggery will protect your immunity. This is being advocated by even Ayurveda practitioners. When Ayurvedic science recommends clearly what all factors will improve hunger, metabolism, and drainage mechanisms with respect to the state, unique cause, and circumstances of the subject. How my hunger gets improved differs from how your hunger gets improved, which differs from a third person status. Is it not? How my metabolism is improved differs from how another person's metabolism gets improved. Even though there are certain common methods like exercise, which will boost metabolism in all people, it has to be advocated strictly in accordance to the person's unique cause and circumstance. You know, there are strict contraindications for every single herb. Ashwagandha, guluchi, then yashti madhu, then ginger, garlic. All these have strict indications and contraindications. Gugulu. So when people start consuming this in bulk with least awareness about their body conditions in the sense not prakriti, their unique cause circumstances of their disease conditions, what kind of diseases they are prone to, what kind of diseases they are having, what kind of diseases they were having past. All these matters in deciding what will protect them from infections. And yes, every time when they get infections, what they do to get rid of infections. That is an extremely crucial determinant to protect you from infections. One time infection comes, what you did, how you get rid of infection, what kind of activities, did you do anything to stimulate metabolism? Did you do anything to cut off the viral anabolic activity inside the body? Did you do anything in favor of immune mechanisms, natural immune mechanisms to get rid of the pathogen by your innate immune system? Innate immune system is the immediate immune response happening inside the body. Did you do anything to favor your innate immune system to get rid of the pathogen? If all the answers are yes, you are highly protected than other people in getting infection. And if you get infection also, you are highly protected from clearing it, by clearing it compared to other people. So this one, what you do to manage infection, that is determining your chances of getting infection, your chances of recovery, in how much time you recover, etc., etc. So there are scientific guidelines. In Ayurveda, there is nothing called virus, bacteria, old virus, fungus, etc. Ayurveda cares only for host immune mechanisms. You know, it is a highly advanced science. I think after 2000 years science, it is that much updated and advanced science. But the problem is that the people who are handling this science are outdated. They are not ready to improve their intelligence in science. So it is not that Ayurveda which requires updation. It is people who are dealing with this science who require to improve their intelligence and who require to learn to utilize the science for the benefit of self and humanity. This requires a revised education. This requires revised policies in research, education, and clinical practice, which is very crucial today. So these things, let me repeat: ginger, lemon juice, with jaggery, without jaggery, pepper, ashwagandha, giloy, etc. Taking irrationally, like consuming it. There are people who are consuming it continuously, with the hope that they are protected from infection. It's not like that. Immune protection happens when your digestion, metabolism, circulation, drainage mechanisms, everything is optimum. It's a natural process. You cannot induce immunity from outside. You cannot induce innate immune. You cannot induce innate immunity from outside. So vaccination is an external means of creating adaptive immunity. It's not innate immunity. Innate immunity is the first immune response which eliminates the pathogen. You know, then there is no infection. Why can't people focus on innate immune system? When we get infection, the first activated system in our body is innate immune system. So we have to modify. Ayurveda is such a brilliant science where we have methods to modify the innate immune system from outside and make the patient recover from infection. When the person is recovered, naturally adaptive immunity is formed, antibodies are formed, and he is protected from future infections. But for that, lot of intelligence is required to be inculcated in the physicians of Ayurveda, which at present is not happening. So that is why we have proposed science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda proposal to respected Honorable Prime Minister as well as Government of India. And another thing, there is no universal antidotes or medicines against any viral infection in Ayurveda. There is no universal antidote like this medicine is beneficial in this viral infection or bacterial infection or fungal infection. Nothing like that. Ayurveda recommends to treat the patient and reverse his diseases. Sometimes a person who is having infection may be having allergy or autoimmune disease or hypothyroid or diabetes or some cardiac problems, dyslipidemia, etc. So it's not that we are not able to treat for infection alone, virus alone, by allowing what the other drugs people are taking about from diabetes, thyroid, etc., etc. So what we recommend, SBBA practitioners recommend is that people who want this SBBA first aid for viral fevers or treatment. First aid and treatment are different. First aid is what we do in the beginning to get rid. And treatment means we are treating the entire circumstances. We are giving medication sometimes also. So what we advise our patients is that those patients who are ready for treating under us means we will be taking care of the entire disease circumstances of the subject. Those people should only approach us. It's not like for infection Ayurveda, for diabetes modern medicine, for skin disease homeopathy, and for something else Siddha. It is not possible. Every medical system is independent. It has its own innate scientific laws, principles, and decision making algorithms. So we take a written consent from the patient first that I wish to undergo infection for my disease, for my conditions, with provided all these conditions are agreeable to the patient. So this is one condition of SBEBA, and this is what scientific Ayurveda instructs to do. Okay, and no oils will improve immune system. It's like, so I know many Vaidyas are prescribing head oils like sinusitis oils, nasal polyp oils. All these are utter nonsense. If any Vaidya prescribes you oil for tonsillitis, oil for sinusitis, oil for nasal polyp, etc., run away from the physician. Don't stay there anymore. There is no oil recommended by the science of Ayurveda as an antidote in infective status. And because of these oils, people are getting into worst level. Where oil is contraindicated, also people will apply all these oils or oil application externally, internally, everywhere. So these things can disrupt the immune system. These things, even though you are applying oil outside, on your skin or scalp or inside the nose, wherever it is. If you are applying oil in wrong status, you don't know which is wrong and which is right. Is it not? How will you know without education? So, if you are applying it in wrong status, I tell you, you will be getting aggravated infection very soon. Within hours, you will land in trouble. And when you are using these herbs and spices irrationally, like lavanga, many tikshna dravyas people are using and landing in troubles like acidity, bleeding from stomach, etc. by using these herbs and spices irrationally by thinking that they will improve immunity and they will get rid of virus. There is nothing, no truth in these things. And next, foods. There are no superfoods advised by Ayurveda to boost immunity. You know, boosting immunity is done by digestion, metabolism, drainage, effective circulation, etc. So foods are to be adapted in such a way where the subject is having excellent metabolism, digestion, and some people will be having toxins in their body, like they might be having some allergy, autoimmune conditions, etc. So their boosting immunity will not help. So there we have to consider altered immune system. So SBEBA is the first venture in Ayurveda where we have specific and specialized guidelines to diagnose and treat all the autoimmune diseases. Specifically, it's not a generalized protocol, patient with SLE with fever. If it is infective or non-infective fever, we can differentiate with the help of modern diagnostic blood reports, and we can differentiate with Ayurvedic science also, whether it is autoimmune fever or infective fever. And we can adopt SBBA protocols and protect the person. Reverse the infection if it is infective fever. Such kind of protocols are first and foremost developed in SBABA, which is published in Unveiling the Truths in Ayurveda. So there is nothing called immune, when the person, autoimmune disease person is on steroids, immune suppressants like HCQ or steroids. SBABA guidelines are not possible. He has to undergo the modern medicine itself because there is significant indifference. People who are taking steroids and antibiotics, welcome to Ayurveda. We will give you immune boosters. When steroids will suppress immunity, we will give you immune boosters. Don't fear Ayurveda. Like that, I have seen Ayurvedic doctors and even professors writing like boasting like, you take immune suppressants, you come to us, we will give you immune boosters, you mix and take both. No, it is only cheating, it is not treating. You cannot do anything to help such people. People must understand that they have to stick on to one system at one time. If they want to take modern medicine, they have to go completely by modern medicine. Autoimmune disease, infection, whatever it is. They have to go completely by modern medicine. And if they want to go scientific Ayurvedic guidelines, they have to adopt scientific Ayurveda guidelines alone. People should be willing for that. We are not forcing anyone. We are not compelling people, come, come, come. We are having autoimmune disease protocols. Nothing like that. We have published authentically, and those patients who are giving us consent declaration forms, they are undergoing treatment, they are getting benefited, they are telling patients, and more patients are approaching us. We are not doing any form of advertisements or campaigns or anything like autoimmune disease treatment, nothing like that. Okay, but we are having scientific guidelines which we have published already, and we are training doctors, hundreds of doctors, and some doctors are dedicated to this. So they are learning science and science-based medicine and practicing. So we are having a very good team of SBBA practitioners now. So this is one thing which I want to tell you, because you should not be confused. There should not be any mixing up of like zinc, vitamins, antipyretics like paracetamol, etc. from one side, Amrita Arishta, Vettumar and Sudarshana, etc. from the other side, some homeopathy medicines, some Siddha medicines, some herbs, everything together. People are going mad. People do not know what to do to prevent death. So everyone fears death. No doubt in that. So they are doing everything, whatever is available to them. So this is making them to a dangerous level. That's why I have come on live today. So I am winding up, and the last but not this last point, but not the least, this black fungus is a main issue now, which is happening and which has taken away the lives of so many people. And nowadays I hear about white fungus, yellow fungus, etc. So the thing is that the fungus is always there in the atmosphere and on our body. Fungal spores are there in the soil. Fungal spores are there in the plants, vegetables, decayed fruits. So it is like ubiquitous. Fungus is present everywhere. We cannot kill all the fungus and live a healthy life. It is always there. But these fungal infections are arising because of four reasons. Okay, according to modern research, I am telling, one I understand is declined oxygen levels. Oxygen levels wherever hypoxia is there. Hypoxia is there means in Ayurvedic science perspective, hypoxia means it can decline immunity. It can decline immunity. When immune system functioning is reduced, naturally they are prone to get infections of any kinds. Not be bacteria, it can be fungus or viral or whatever it is. And second is diabetes. So there are scientific Ayurveda explanations to substantiate why diabetic patients are prone to infections. Not only fungal infections, they are prone to get all forms of infections. So because of low metabolism also, their healing is slow, their recovery from infections are slow, etc. So in this matter, what you have to do is boost your metabolism by scientific Ayurveda guidelines. So that can be explained only by an SBABA practitioner. Conventional Ayurveda practitioner, actually there is no training program in our curriculum specifically focused on infection care and cure. Actually, this is all crucial time to think. We must have a change in our curriculum. We have submitted this proposal in 2018 requesting CCRS. Sir, please consider our proposal. There is a training program recommended by us for infections. We are having a revised, updated protocol to handle infections. That was in 2018 we have submitted. We are having a very good documented data of evidences also in patients. But it is yet to be considered. So what I mean to say is that it is high time to revise the curriculum of Ayurveda first. Ayurveda doctors, instead of practicing mixopathy, modern medicine, etc., they must learn how to diagnose and reverse infections in Ayurveda. So for this point, we have developed science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda protocols. So second is diabetes. SBBA guidelines are there for type 2 diabetes. I told you, many patients have become HbA1c below 6 for more than 2 years without any medicines. We are having documented data of such patients, large number of patients. And third is increasing iron level, which they find out iron level, increasing iron level. So I have read in evidences that the supplementation of iron and zinc are one cause. I'm not sure because I'm not authentic to say about that. And fourth one, as I'm sure, immune suppression. Immune suppression and reduced oxygen have scientific evidence-based reasoning in Ayurveda to substantiate that fungal infections are emerging. So here, fungus can cause infection in sinus, brain and lungs, mainly sinus, brain and lungs. So what is to be done? When infections come, it has to be treated properly, viral infection or bacterial infection, whatever it is. When an infection is happening to a person, immediately SBEBA has to be applied where Ayurveda treatment is sought for, and immediately the infection's chances or circumstances inside the body, inside the innate immune system, has to be made in favor of host, and infection has to be cleared from the person. That is step one, to prevent the onset of such superimposed infections. Step one, you have to adopt stimulation of metabolism, stimulation of drainage mechanisms, and modifying innate immune system to do both these factors efficiently. So this is what is to be done. And if fungal infections are present also, as I told you, there is no fungus in Ayurveda. We are considering host immune response. So we are modifying host immune system mechanisms. We have specific and specialized guidelines of medications, diet and regimen. It's not like one medicine fits all approach. And it's not like another myth is that we are treating people based on Prakriti. I have seen even professors talking like this. Ayurveda doctors are treating people based on Prakriti. In a disease condition, a patient is not treated by Prakriti. A patient is treated by nature of disease, cause mechanisms of the disease. Tasmat vigara prakriti adhishthanaantaranija samuthana visheshansha buddhva karma majiret. Tasmat vigara prakriti. It's not patient prakriti. Whether he belongs to Kabha constitution or Pitta constitution or Vada constitution. It is immaterial in disease status. Disease status, what is to be considered is nature of the disease. That is called Vikara Prakriti. That is assessed from signs and symptoms. So Vikara Prakriti, Adhishthana, the site of pathogenesis. And Samuthana Vishesha, etiopathological mechanisms explored in Ayurveda. Ayurveda has very detailed etiopathologic mechanisms for all sort of infective and non-infective fevers explained in Ayurveda. So these are some of the myths which I think I have covered all the aspects. So to wind up, let me tell you, there are no immune booster medicines or there are no anti-infective medicines in Ayurveda. In Ayurveda, infection care and cure is very fast in scientific Ayurveda. Why? Because there are specific and specialized principles explained in the science which is entirely focused on host to reverse the cause mechanism of infection inside the body by working on innate immune system and modifying metabolism, this uh, drainage mechanisms, metabolism and drainage mechanisms. So, and sometimes we have specific methods to neutralize the toxins produced by pathogens also. So there are methods, specific scientific methods. If I tell you the technical terms, Pajana, Shamana, etc. also, laymen outside Ayurveda people will not be knowing that. That's why I'm not telling those technical terminologies and their explanations. But at the same time, SBBA is providing training to all these what you call Ayurveda, qualified Ayurveda practitioners are there who undergo training systematically and they are doing this. And before winding up, one more thing we are doing is SBBA viral fever first aid program now. We have launched before 3 days. Hastalamba is the name. So Hastalamba means Adanga Pangamagnana, Hastalambo Bhishakjidam. What we have to do as a physician is extending arms to the people who are sunken in the mud of the disease. We can only extend our arms. People are to hold and come up. So it is their necessity, not our necessity. People are to be responsible for their health. And how they can be responsible for their health. It is what we are teaching them. We are educating them. What all things you should do when you get infection. What all things you can do without getting infection. And our first aid program is entirely meant for those people who are having active infection of any form. Okay, it's not like one fever like COVID positive, negative, nothing like that. Any sort of viral fever they are having, any sort of infective fever they are having, they can choose this program. So they can register the link. We are providing first aid. The patient cannot be treated without seeing. So in SBEBA is having strict policy not to treat patients online. We cannot treat patients online because we are not able to assess the patient correctly, and we are not doing any symptom suppressant drugs. Yeah, we are not doing any blocking, masking, suppressing, etc. Our responsibility as an SBBA practitioner is very much high. We have to reverse the disease and we have to make the people healthy. So we cannot take risk. We cannot take chance. Okay. So that's why we are not doing online consultation. It's for your benefit that we are not doing it. But at the same time, in this COVID-19 situation, we can help you. We can provide first aid in viral fevers. So whenever if you get any symptom like not feeling well, malaise or weakness or joint pain, body pain, etc., fever, whatever it is, do not hesitate to contact the link. Link is already there on my timeline. I have shared many times, and SBBA practitioners are sharing it, volunteers are sharing it. We have a very good team of volunteers. I should appreciate their service. There are medical and non-medical volunteers, even people who are qualified engineers and other technical field people also. We are teaching them, we are training them the first aid program, and they are very much interested. They are voluntarily ready to participate in our mission. So you will get their services and you will be directed to SBBA practitioner, and he will be guiding you very specific advices based on your unique conditions to get rid of the fever. So there is no need of any tension, but you will need to report to them rightly on time to help them to help you better. You will have to cooperate with our guidelines completely because it is for you. That's why it's called Adanga Pangam Agnanam Hastalambo Bishajjidam. You cannot cure the patient. You cannot cure the patient. Physician cannot cure the patient. Patient has to cure himself. So na Vaidya Prabhurayusha, in Ayurveda it is mentioned. Na Vaidya Prabhurayusha. Vaidya is not the Lord of Ayus. So when we save one patient also, we owe to God because God is the supreme authority who is controlling our life and not the physician. So whatever we can do is we can give clear-cut instructions from our science, which is most pertinent to your conditions. It is your decision whether to adopt them or not. If you are not adopting, you cannot join our program. If you are ready to adopt and get rid of your illness, then you can join our program. That's all. So I don't want to waste more time with you. And please give me a feedbacks on my lives because nowadays I'm coming more frequently on live programs. I don't know what's happening with you, whether I'm making you bored or whether you're getting any advantages from my live program. Whatever it is, I would like to get specific feedbacks regarding my live program. So keep posting your feedbacks to my live program on my timeline. You can do it freely. Okay. So with this, I sincerely pray and look forward to serve and see each one of you with the grace of God. Namaste. I'll be checking all your queries if any query is there under this, and I'll be replying to them within a short while. Okay. Thank you.